Hi, we are going to discuss now our assignment for week 4, which is the sharp debridement lab. But before that, let me orient you to the ham hock that I will be using. I have labeled the ham hock, I have dyed it in 3 parts. So one, the blue spot is in the muscle here, the red dye here on the bony prominence, and also one blue dye here on the skin. Alright, so we are going to start with wound tracing, and I have prepared the wound tracing baggie here. I have put on the date and the initials of the patient here on the top right corner, and then I also put the orientation, the 12 o'clock here on the top, the 6 o'clock here on the bottom, and then I now traced the main ham hock. And I labeled the parts. I used a legend, NT for necrotic tissue, M for muscle, B for bone, and you see all the serrated hatch lines, they are the connective tissue. So here on this side, I put here the legend for you to see. And also here on this lower portion of the baggy bag, I wrote here the surface area that I was able to measure using our wound ulcer scale. So I used the wound ulcer scale to measure the size of the wound here on the baggy bag and also here on the ham hock. So at first, we did the measurement of the wound size here on the baggy bag. We grab our wound ulcer scale and we're going to use the centimeters part of the scale. So we are going to lie this baggy bag flat, and we are going to put the centimeter portion of the scale, and we're going to align it like this, and we find that we find the greatest length and the greatest width of the necrotic tissue. There you go, we use the centimeters area, and then we find a product of 7.5 square centimeters on the necrotic tissue tracing. Now comparing it on the ham hock, here, this is a necrotic tissue which we traced a while ago. We are going to measure it now using again the centimeter portion of the wound ulcer scale. We are going to get the surface area of the greatest length and the greatest width using the centimeter area, and we find it as 3 times 2.3 equivalent to 6.9 square centimeters. So there, analyzing these two measurements, we get a difference of 0.6 square centimeters. 0.6 square centimeters, that is the discrepancy. And we can see the significance of this is that in clinics, we have to be consistent in measuring the wound of the patient. If we keep on measuring it on the patient, keep on measuring it on the patient. If on the wound tracing, on the wound tracing, to prevent confusion and inconsistencies. Alright, so we are done now with the wound tracing. We are going now for the first part of the real debridement, which is the shaving or paring. We are going to select now the red part dye of the ham hock in this area. You see the red part dye. And with the debridement procedure number 1, we're going to use the number 10 scalpel blade. The number 10 scalpel blade is this fat curved scalpel. You see the fat curved scalpel here. And the way we hold it is that we put it in between the ring finger and the middle finger, or the third web space. And then we wrap around our distal tips of the fingers here on the serrated part of the blade. And then making sure that we firmly grasp that serrated part. So we begin to stabilize this ham hock using our non-dominant side for added stability. And what we do is we begin our again, repeating it again on the third web space, holding it firmly. We are going to angle the scalpel a little like this, so that we are sure that we can carve something out of the skin. And then if we have already carved a little something, now it's turn. It is time to flatten our blade and start little sewing movements using our fingers and wrist. There, you see the first shaving. We put it here on our extra space. Now you can see that this is a good shaving because this part is light red, so this is a good shave. So we have to keep on continuing the shaving part. Again, angulating. Make sure that the tip is not pointing to the skin of the patient. So, and our forearm is well rested on the edge of the table. Again, we hold it on the third web space, stabilize, firmly holding it on the serrated part of the scalpel, and then angulating it a little, and then doing saw-like fine motions which are coming from the fingers and the wrist. Alright, okay. We see our second shaving here. Put it here. In order to determine if the depth is good, we're going to put it against the light. If we see that it is transparent, we are sure that it is light red and we did a good job. So there, it's transparent, I can see it. So that is a good shave. Now, in comparison, we are going to just continue shaving until we are able to gather a good amount of callus here, and one more here in this area, making sure that the forearms are rested and the blade is now parallel on the skin. There you go. Now we are going to keep on doing this until we have decided that it is time to stop, because we have reached that before that viable tissue area. But here, now we can see the shavings here on this part. Look, we have the shavings here. It's fairly light, the red in color shavings. And in comparison, I will show you a deeper cut, which is really wrong. So if we decided to cut it like too deep like this, there you go. You can see a lighter part, and that is a signal that we have gone too deep. Alright, so that is wrong. Okay, so now we have to pause a little and we go on to the next procedure.